Hello, this is Dirty 20 Gaming. My name is Kevin, and these wonderful people have agreed to come and play a game with me tonight, and that makes me extraordinarily happy. But these people do other things when they're not here, so let's start with Primus. What
Hello,
do you
everyone.
tell us what you do when you're not here?
Mostly you can find me on most Tuesdays of the month, over on Charlie Xavier D&D, from 5:30 to roughly about 8:30 Central Time, playing June Seabreeze in the Sorbeck Isles module. And you can find me here on Fridays. That's about
Wonderful. Put the link in. Put
it.
the link in the chat, please. Well, we talked to Solar Dasher.
Hi. Sometimes you can find me here, there, and everywhere. I tend to hang out without actually streaming in another stream where I'm a moderator, but that's another story.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to try and stream this weekend. I'm starting a new game. I'm going to be playing Fallout 4.
Oh,
I've been wanting to play that. The game was on sale this weekend, so I was like, why not?
that's an
So
extremely streamable game. Yeah.
I'm planning on maybe going live later on in the afternoon. I've got a rosary to go to, but after that, maybe when I get home, we'll see what I can do.
Wonderful. We'll post the link just in case.
We'll do it here in a few moments.
All right, thank you.
Otherwise, you can find me here.
Oh yeah, everybody's here. That's because once you're here, you don't go away because we're pretty kind of special. Toots own horn moves on. To Sean, thank you for joining us. You came back. That always makes me happy. It means we did something right. But you do many other things. Tell us about your things.
Well, right now, one of the things is I'm working on, started talking with the store owner. We're going to try to get some of our charity games going back up. Probably starting sometime late October, early November. We'll be trying to get that up and play again. So Dells for Donors coming back. Fingers crossed we can get all the pigeons in a row, because
Excellent.
when they're flying around on their own, they're no good.
Yes, you do pigeons, we do ducks. Yes, the
we had
the
to stop
ducks.
the ducks. They got nasty.
Oh yes, they're just tiny geese, which are just cobra chickens, as everybody knows. But that's them. I keep forgetting to do me, so I will deflect again this week and do us instead. Dirty 20 Gaming is now streaming 5 nights a week again, pretty consistently. If you tune in and we're not here, it's either one of those other 2 nights. Which are currently Wednesday and Sunday. But if it's any of the other nights and we're not here, it's just scheduling. I mean, it's role playing. People couldn't show up. So tune in, see if we're here. If we are, watch. If we're not, go to YouTube and watch it all there, because there's 416 something videos over there now. That's a lot of binge watching and a lot of different series and a lot of different players over a lot of different years. And Thursday, yes, you're right. Thursday finished yesterday too. So pardon me, we're down to 4 temporarily. Thank you, chat. With that, we gotta do some credits. The rule system we're using tonight is from Monty Cook Games. It's called Stealing Stories for the Devil, and it is wondrous. It has many elements that we will see as we move along. Again, Monty Cook Games. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The art tonight, some of it's from Wikipedia, some of it is from Google. The credits are up there, as you can see when we pop the map up for you. Other than that, let's do this, because you are in an interesting spot. The 3 of you are literally putting the paving stones back down in a city oasis park. Well, your uncle, Mick, and by that I mean Mick, it's your uncle, and your uncle's also named Mick. Let's keep it easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
For story's sake.
Yes. Walks away.
That was named for my Uncle Mick.
Yeah, you were named for it. Perfect. See, now we got backstory. Very carefully pouring a very empty thermos into a very empty thermos cup, and checking his watch, and very carefully admiring flowers. While the 3 of you were in this sort of niche in the corner of the park, all of a sudden, meep meep, honk honk, mat 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 mat, that London, just as quiet as it was when you came in here, suddenly compared to the war camp, it's a whole different set of noises. I think we're going to start with just and unless somebody wants to do anything before this, with just that click as the last stone goes into place. To me, that's the sort of splash panel that this particular graphic novel starts on.
Yeah, I can
three
definitely
hands,
see that.
one on top of the
Yep.
other, on top of the other, click. And around that, I just realized are the chat boxes, but they're the square ones with the Zerkies, the lightning thingies on the side, which means they're the thoughts of the player, of the characters. So, with no more to go on than that, Mick, you just called in a favor for your uncle on this one. What's racing through your mind? What do? You just changed history. Muscle Boy, what's up? I just had to remind you who you are before you started thinking clearly.
Okay. So there's also the second level of this,
Yep.
which is where I think Mick is kind of stuck in, where he's coming from a place where basically he was with his kind of people,
Oh yeah.
people who are tough, rough and tumble, people who put in the hard work, and those type of people, those rough and tumble style people.
Yep.
And you have the smells, the campfire, the stew,
Yep.
horses, and all those other glorious smells that I'm not gonna mention.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then the click of the final stone, and I imagine it's like the reverse feeling of when you're taking off on an airplane,
Okay.
where you're thrown back, but instead you're
Yep.
thrown forward.
Yep.
And makes it's like, whoa.
It's just exhaust fumes and people whining loudly. That's
yeah,
what it is,
and
right?
makes just like, okay, we're good, we're back. Like everything's cool now.
Yeah.
We've got my uncle's bike that he said that we could borrow back behind this place so we can get out of here.
Yeah.
It's got 2 sidecars, so it's got plenty of room for all of us. So like that's our getaway plan.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like I don't want to get my uncle in trouble with his boss, because I kind of need him to be on my good side. So
that's where we've currently got Mick. Ted.
As that clicks into place, and you just get that sensation, I guess it's that whole thing of the new reality floods in on us,
Yes.
and realizing, okay, this is a bit more screwed up than I was anticipating. But shifting my backpack and feeling that weight is still in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I do believe we can make this work. Got to be careful on that one, but we need to find out why Colin didn't tell us all this, because this is not 100% all right. We need answers.
Callum, you got some explaining. Yeah, absolutely. Blake.
They feel that click, and they just get like warm, fuzzy feelings inside. Like maybe that was something that they were supposed to do, and they enjoyed the holy living crap out of it. They
Yeah.
got a rush off of it. They were excited.
Mm-hmm.
They're still trying to find themselves, of course, but they are rip roaring and ready to go. They're kind of psyched for the next round, so to say,
Sure.
the next little bit of adventure. And they rather will look at the other two and be like, I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm ready to continue this adventure, man. I'm having the time of my life.
It's as long as we go do some talking first.
like
Well,
I'm totally on board with all this, but we still gotta go. Like I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I understand this is like good like interpersonal growth going here, and I'm all for that. But like we're kind of on a timer right now before my uncle starts getting mad. And I don't know if y'all remember, my uncle's a bit of a badass, and I'd prefer not to find out how many submission holds he'd like to practice on me today.
We can do that tomorrow, eh? But yeah, that's a good idea. Let's get going.
So you come out of that little alcove into the rest of the park, and it's empty. You see there's two gates in. One of them's locked. The other one your uncle is standing at like this in the open gate, utterly blocking it. Not physically, he only covers about half of it, but it's clear nobody's coming in here. And you hear him say, as somebody comes up and tries to go past him, he just says a couple of words, and they kind of eyes open up and they bugger off. And he looks up and down the street and turns around to you, Mick, and it says, "It'd be a very good time for you to be pissing off about now, son." And he turns around and walks away from the gate.
Oh, yep. Thanks again, Uncle. And I imagine that they go out the exit of the of where his uncle was.
Yep.
And it's a bunch of side streets that I imagine that it goes out to.
Yep.
And then he sees
nobody on them.
He sees the bike and says like, "Okay, there's the bike. Let's go."
Yep.
And he just
then you
runs.
Yeah, over there. As you do, the other two follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Getting out.
Yeah, the three of you heading for your ride. You hear one of the people say in a loud voice as they're heading down the street, "Gas leak. Yeah, I'm not sticking around. I don't know about you." And they keep going, and people start to back up even more. So apparently your uncle has said that there's a gas leak in the park.
Yeah, that could work.
And the three of you start a gas-powered vehicle and drive.
Yep.
And that's when they smell the gases. They move along too.
Yes.
So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, yes.
It helps It helps the wafting of the essence of everything.
It flooded, so they actually smell fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. With that, you make your way through London looking around. I would like each of you to make a perception roll. This isn't normally how this game works, but I want to see what each of you sees. So remember, if you have not taken it, it's a D6. If you're good at it, it's a D8. And if you're very good at it, it's a D10.
I am perceptive. This is one of my traits, a D8.
It's a D8. Yeah.
I am not. So
D6, right?
Yeah. If you're not, well, that makes it easy. That makes it absolutely easy. Everybody's rolled 4. So you, as you head back, nothing major has changed. That's for sure. The city is still the city. The roads still go where the roads go. The one-ways still go where the one-ways go. The buildings look the same. There's a couple things here and there, like parks, historical parks that aren't there. Instead, there's a block of flats instead. Just little things like that. Just a couple. I'm just looking from where you are. Because you're perceptive. I know you all rolled a 4, but because you're actually perceptive, Ted, there's 2 places that you pass on the way to Callum's brownstone where there are missing Roman ruins. One was a park with a statue of a Roman god of some sort. That's not here. And there's another place where there had been an excavation and there was a part of an amphitheater, and there's no mention of that either. Those are also just apartment blocks.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So there's been some changes. As you get back to Nowhere Road, park in front of number 23. 3 of you get out, and you can hear the windows open just a little bit, and you can hear two Scottish voices announcing. I'm not even going to try and announce any part of it because I don't understand, but it's unbelievably interesting to watch. A Scottish sport called hurling. It is played with a stick that looks like a bent spatula and a wooden ball, and they hit the ball most of the time, not hitting each other, but you can bounce it, and it's amazing and very, very, very Scottish. and you can
Sounds
hear the
like,
sounds of that coming out the window.
I was gonna say it sounds like hockey, but on grass with bigger sticks.
It's hockey and Australian rules football, sort of.
Oh, that'll work.
Sort of, yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah.
All right, so Nick, you want the honors first the door again?
Oh yeah, Nick just walks up,
Yeah.
turns it. So like, I didn't want to say anything back there, like while we were still trying to, like get away. But like, Ted, what's in that bag, man? That bag is awfully heavy for you.
Oh, it's no weight at all. Yeah, really. I don't mind it. It's not slowing me down in the lightest. And it might come in handy. And for future reference, it might come in handy. So I have a plan for it. But don't worry about it right now. We're good. We're good.
Okay.
So
And he just shrugs it off.
All
like,
right.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to play.
You go
That's
up
cool with
and
me.
You turn the door knocker, and instead of the bring, it just goes and slides out of the way like an airlock. The voice, the sports announcers get louder. They're loud, excited, and Scottish. They may be speaking English. It's kind of hard to tell. They're really excited, and over that you can hear Callum screaming obscenities, mostly at the referees.
Sports game. Gotcha.
Yes.
Nick walks in.
This time he doesn't even hear you guys as you're coming down the hallway. You turn the corner and finally see like his well, actually, we were in here once before. I didn't really describe it though. This room that you guys were in once and are now back in is mostly Victorian furniture, Louis XIV. It's out of character. It's old even for this place, but it's historic. It's just that this should be in museums, most of the furniture in here. There's an actual fireplace with a big roaring fire in one side of it. And Callum comes out in yet another, or he's sitting there in yet another of his brightly colored kilts and outfits. It turns out this one is the actual plaid. It's black with yellow. That's his plaid.
Hmm.
He looks up. Oh shit, I didn't hear you come in. Do you?
Really should get a dinger for that thing.
I should, and you three look like you've been wrung out backwards through your own arseholes. What the hell happened?
Why don't you tell us?
What like didn't happen?
Maybe I missed a language class somewhere. What the hell happened?
Okay, we got the thing you wanted us to get,
Right.
but then like we traveled through time.
You what now?
We traveled through time. We went back and we met Boudica and her warband back before the burning of Ladinium.
I heard there was a gas leak in that wee park today.
Yeah, like that was my uncle's doing. He's a really cool guy.
Well, I thought perhaps it was the cause of your delusions.
No, not quite.
I suppose after a fashion, but like, so we went back. We
Right.
met Boudica.
Right. In 60 AD.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we looked like normal folks, I guess, to them. I don't know, like this thing's all over my head, but
Sure, why not? Let's do the Doctor Who rules then.
sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Perception filter.
Like, I totally don't know who this Doctor Who is, but they sound like a great dude or dudette.
If
I
you're
don't
going
know.
to
I
be
don't
living
want to
here in
assume.
London with your uncle, you're going to have to watch Doctor Who. Otherwise, you have to leave the country. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you say I
It's a
don't know
rule.
who this Doctor Who is, you hear 10,000 invisible necks creak as they go.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the ones that can't
What?
hear you.
In all actuality, do you really think Mick would watch
No, no, absolutely no.
But you don't say that out loud. You complain about me and talk
Anyway.
about gyms. You don't talk about Doctor Who like that.
Yeah,
Like, so we were there.
right.
We were there for a really long time. Like, she was looking at like, she was basically kind of like at like almost like this like crucible point, man, where like she had the choice between like, you know, going and attacking Londinium and burning it down, or go attacking like this other Roman general, which like some of her advisors wanted to do.
That's
but, like-
Suetonius, that prick.
Yeah, that guy. But like we ended up like giving her like a super awesome plan to basically make Suetonius guy ever regret coming to Britain, man.
Yeah, hopefully that sewer guy went bye-bye.
So the three of you remember the Romans being in Britain until when? Before this.
Like 4 something, I don't know.
Right.
480, 580, I don't know. It was a long time.
You ever
Like
walked
there was this
around-
really cool guy named Hadrian who built this like super epic wall.
Funny you
like-
should mention that. And he slams an atlas, a paper atlas on the table, and pops it open to the map of Western Europe and the British Isles. And he says, I was walking around with 2 sets of memories in my head. I was wondering what the hell was going on. But look, you're talking about Hadrian's Wall. Used to go right across here, right? And he points from the Firth of Forth straight across.
Yeah.
There's nothing, there's no mark on the map. He says, now, I'm betting none of you have seen this. And he points to the coast of France. And there's this series of forts called Suetonius's Line.
No,
I'm
that's a new one
sorry,
on me.
the nerd in me, the history nerd in me is loving every minute of this. It,
A number
uh,
I have not yet called it the West Wall, so you should.
I have not called it anything. I have done nothing. of the
It's
sort.
Suetonius's Wall. In a brief explanation, because I do want to get us moving along here. Yeah, the Roman, you saw it briefly as you left. The Romans left in 60 AD instead of in 440. Because of that, not a lot changed in the Isles themselves. They were still doing business amongst themselves. The Romans stayed in Europe. The outcasts of that came across and to the Isles, where they sort of did their thing. So when the Romans later on were driven back, they were actually at a slight advantage instead of a massive disadvantage, because they already had a small collection of sort of pirate connections with the coast. So over time, when the Romans, they drew their line in the sand, but instead of drawing it along the Firth of Forth, they drew it along the French coast and said to the island. Because of that, I'll briefly mention also, because he mentions it too, because of that, there's going to be a few places in London that aren't quite as familiar as they used to be.
So
Oh
did
boy.
that change any of the things that we need to then do?
Oh, you
'Cause it
mean
was- well,
this
there
then?
was-
And he kind of touches a button on his screen of London, and I just had the thought, so I'll have it for next week, but I haven't got it right now. All the points light up in this connection, sort of every point connected to almost not every other point, but there's a pattern to it.
Right.
And it's all sort of almost all in white, except for right at the number 1, the one that you guys just did, the number 3.
3.
The point from there to the 4 around it has gone to like an orange. It relaxed quite a bit.
Huh?
Okay. Well, that's what we were supposed to do, right?
That's the whole point of it, yeah. I'm going to be honest. I'm a wee bit surprised you came back from that.
Were we supposed to die?
No, I just didn't know. I guess the real question is, what the hell was she like? And you realize he's got about 3 fingers of scotch in a glass. He's asking about Boudica. Remember, if you remember the
You
phrase,
remember,
yeah,
yeah.
he's got, he's
yeah.
got
He was
kind of
very
a thing.
infatuated.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Blake will go into extreme detail about Boudica.
yeah.
They will give details that probably would make him blush.
Just, yeah.
Very, very detailed. Body wise, how
Oh.
they act and everything.
Oh yeah, you can just see Greek god in his head. That's what he's got. It's just like this fantasy that he's got in Boudica is just getting bigger and bigger with every word that you say.
So, since we managed to sit there and give her a helping hand on that, what exactly changed in her story then?
She went on to lead a fleet of pirates originally, and a lot of the Celtic tribes tried to go home, but there was no real home to go to. I mean, there was, but it was the same old shite. They got. She got them addicted to adventures. It was almost 30 years later she drowned in the sea.
Well, it's 30 more years than she would have had.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like it worked out in the long run for Britain.
Right, so you're trained professionals now. What do you want to do next? I need more whiskey. And he heads over to the cabinet, and like it's still 2 fingers. He got it down to 2. It's back up to 4 again.
Well,
Mm.
Right, who stepped in
That's-
horse shite?
I believe yes.
Yeah.
It was a little hard to avoid. That was most of the ground. By the way, that chariot rides rather nicely.
What? You didn't?
Oh, she gave it to us.
We, had lots of fun.
You're seeing
think
a
we-
rare.
Like,
You're seeing
Well, I
a
think we
rare
broke
thing.
him.
A Scotsman with nothing to say.
like, deep breath in,
Uh,
deep
she
breath
get-
out.
yeah, okay, moving on. I'll save that for later. Oh. Okay. Like I said, you have now done this one more time than I have. What are you? What? Your next choice?
So
Mm.
one more time than you have. So I mean, you've never done any of this,
I
but yet you
cannot-
know all about all of this.
I cannot leave this room. I'm not really from here. Well, I'm not really from when.
So,
Then-
like,
How do you
You're like
know
a
about all
separate-
this?
being from like our time or something.
Imagine a sort of tube from where I'm from, right after the Battle of Culloden, 1700 and something to you lot, all the way to here. And I come through that tube and some of this shite stuck to me. And he points around at the furniture. But I cannot go outside, because outside's not inside, inside's the past, outside's in the now. If I go out there, I'll cease to be.
Then we lose
Okay.
our guide.
Yet,
Right.
like, we can interact with you just fine. Like,
Oh yeah. I was picked out personally for leading this. Other than that, I don't know much more than you do.
Make sure you give your bosses the little write up of not happy about missing the time travel aspect.
Right, I'll put that right between punch in the face and kick in the testicles, shall I?
Rather, why
Yeah.
don't you out today? Drink some more.
I'm violent every day, mister.
like, okay, I don't know, like, which one y'all wanted to do, because I don't know which one I really want to do. but like we kind of need to decide like what we're doing next.
Did we do?
Right,
That's
I'll
what
get the
one-
pills. And he heads out of the room, leaving the three
So
of you there to look at the map.
So, I guess, like I said, what we've said before is we got to be careful, I think, until we get this really down pat for trying to go in any of these museums, because that's going to just, there could be some really, really fun things to do in a museum. It's going to be very hazardous if we don't got this all down pat yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if we want to sit there and try for that first building. I know that he mentioned something about it's always watched, whatever, but we
It's a-
could maybe look at that one.
It's a very recent archaeological find in a current archaeological dig on a tidal river, the Thames. So, but yeah, it's being watched. That's one of them.
And I know
I'm gonna-
Mick. I'll say, I know Mick
If we
really
do that
wants
one, I have a card we can play.
and I know Mick, you really wanting to sit there and go check out that bunker, aren't you?
Like, I'm sorry, but like Churchill just sounds like a super cool guy, and like being able to like go through the stuff like he went through would be so cool.
So I think that one was where we have to sit there and get into a tour group. That might not be so so risky as a full-blown museum, but that might be one that we can look into. And I'm pretty sure that the Great Fire plaque is in a plaza that's loaded with cameras.
Oh yes, yeah. This is London. Everything is
Yes.
camera oriented, but yes.
Unless we change that.
Yes. Oh, you gotta
Oh,
figure out
wow.
ways to change that.
I can
yes,
do something.
exactly.
I have a card I can play
Mhm.
that would do for that one too. It's the same one.
Yeah.
Depending on which one we choose, I'll play it. But I need to. I really want to know. Cause Blake, they are interested in doing either one of those. They're like, I think I
The,
may know something.
The Underground Secret HQ, because I saw a documentary. The little rooms are just have the sort of waist high, like at the bank.
Velvet
That's
ropes.
all that's there is just a rope and your honor, keeping you from stepping into these rooms. So security, no, other than the group you're with plus a couple of people at security guards.
So,
Does that sound like a plan?
I'm thinking maybe the go check out the underground bunkers and see exactly how many cigars he stashed around the place.
And with that, Callum walks back in. He now has a vase with about 9 fingers of whiskey in it. Right. So straight to number 10 then. He points at the map because it's not only number 10, but it's also right across the street from number 10 Downing Street, which is where it actually was. Like really sneaky, Churchill, really sneaky.
Yep.
But he says, one of Churchill's cigars is on display as part of the underground bunker there. And, yeah, I'm supposed to tell you to take that out of the city, but I don't think that makes a splitting bit of difference anymore. I think you lot are going to World War II.
Right. Maybe pick up some flak vest.
During the Blitz
And some helmets.
in London
And the
with
3-day
fire
vacation.
bombing. he
Kevlar.
he just
Kevlar, no Max. Okay, we need NASCAR suits. All right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I've got inside help.
Who is this inside help? Actually, don't tell me. We're gonna do this as a like a card held close to your vest sort of thing. I know it says Act One plan based on the fact that you have a contact within the mission area. We're gonna play it a little different this week. When we get to a spot that you can't figure out what to do, play this card and somebody helps you.
That certainly
So
works for me.
create the contact when you need them, not now, but keep the card in mind for that.
Oh
Perfect.
yeah.
I like this. I like this very much. So you feel like somehow you're gonna have a connection in this underground HQ thing. Okay, that works. Us. Oh, here we go. Yeah, the people of this nation do love old Winston Churchill, don't they? I never really understood why. Last of the colonialists, if you ask me. First Lord of the Admiralty fucked that up in Gallipoli. I mean, he kind of made up for it in World War II, I guess. I'll give him this, though. He could talk the knickers off a nun, couldn't he? Oh, what a speaker. He had a way of making folks believe in themselves. Short of actually going out into the world and doing wondrous shite for people, I guess it'll have to do. Anyway, one of his cigars is part of a display that he used during the Blitz. One of the ones he used during the Blitz. You're going to have to go and steal it. After that, I think you're on your own. Man, my accent wandered all over the fucking place there. I got my cue written right up here, too. Say Route 66 like Billy Connolly. That's my cue for this voice. But yes, that's what he says to you as he's sort of swirling his vase.
So, one thing that might go a ways to do is maybe have a cigar with us to potentially replace. So, pretty sure we've got a couple of tobacco shops along the way. And well, we all know what type of cigar Churchill smoked. They call them Churchills. So
Yeah,
now,
big and cheap, actually, as it turns out.
Yep.
Pick one of those up just as a backup.
Mm-hmm.
And all right. So now you said this place does tours. Are they guided or are they self tours? Self guided.
They're guided tours.
Okay.
Because not everything's locked down. And he clicks on Google a couple of clicks and shows you like hallway pictures, and you can see this is where we move into the plant. So this is where you guys get to alternate. The first thing you see is he says, so you can see here that the rooms are sealed behind the honor system and velvet rope. So that's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is actually kind of a benefit to you, but doesn't matter. I made it, so you guys get to add something now.
I have a very terrible idea, but I love it in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Mick's a big fan of Churchill, so he actually has a full authentic Churchill cosplay that he's going to wear to this.
But okay, yeah, okay.
So because I don't know if you see the kit, but essentially my thought process is I'll explain when it happens.
We'll play it out.
There
Yep. So in my head, yeah, it's a Churchill cosplay, but because of the way that Mick is built, it's kind of like a sumo cosplay.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of padding between Mick and the outside world when he pretends to be Churchill.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. That's the first one. The answer to your question, is there self tours? Is nay, all the tours are guided, and there's tons of people down there all the time.
Okay.
And this is where I was going to use the card. I was going to say I have a contact, a great aunt who does the tours.
Okay.
I can sweet talk her into letting us just be the only ones on that tour, and
Okay.
have her show us exactly where this piece of history is in specific.
Okay.
And then tell her conveniently have to run to the restroom. and leave us alone.
Fair enough. Absolutely. The third thing that I will add that Callum says as he keeps scanning through the images on Google, you can see it here. To preserve the cigars, they put a wee box over the top of it and sealed it down, and it's all filled with nitrogen to prevent decay.
Ed, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm trying to look at my skills. Is what do I have going into this?
Yeah.
I mean, if one of you guys has,
it's just a perspex, because I'm using all the English language stuff I can remember. It's a perspex box built over the cigar case that's filled with nitrogen to prevent the cigars getting dry and crunchy. Drier and crunchier.
If you guys have a way to take care of the nitrogen from exiting the box, or keep it to where we can keep the nitrogen safe, I could bring the box. I could take the box off the cigar.
Okay, so mix a bit of electronics nut.
Okay.
And he is going to look to what essentially amounts as basically temporarily shutting off the nitrogen flow to the box. Because I'm assuming there's some sort of piping or something that's pumping in the nitrogen.
It's not that complicated. They just come in and go, we can in the morning. It's not a dangerous amount. You'll just probably have to break the box.
So now, looking at the images, is it like a glass and wood or glass and metal?
You tell me. He told you about the box. This is your chance to change the box or make the box easier to break into. Yeah.
I've got clingy.
Yep.
So what I was thinking, if the guys could figure out a way to get the nitrogen back in there after taking out the cigar, I could basically just like stick to the ceiling, because I'm pretty sure they're not that high, and pick up the box for them. Just lift it straight up, where they can do the cigar exchange, and then I can put the box back down. They can get the nitrogen back in, and then we'll be done.
Well, we don't have to worry about the nitrogen back in, because the cigar we're going to put it in is not going to be deteriorating anytime soon, as opposed to the one we're taking out.
Yeah.
That is true, because then they're going to redo it in the morning anyway.
Yep.
So I can definitely get in there, pull the box up, get you guys. You guys can do the switch. I'll put the box back down, and we'll be out of there.
Yeah.
So
now you've got
the other thing is the display case itself was actually designed using some of the equipment and tables and such that were in the bunker originally.
Okay.
So therefore, when they put this all together, it wasn't designed to be properly latched down and sealed tight.
Right.
Thus the reason she'll be able to lift it, as well as also the reason why they've managed to make that small little gouge point underneath it where they can always put the tube in the morning and refresh the nitrogen. And it's literally a piece of cork they stuffed in the hole. So
perfect.
It just kind of sits down. So it's just not weight. It's just the weight of the glass top.
Yep.
That's holding it in place.
I had just written down caulking, and you said cork. So yeah, it's that cork, like a gasket between the case and the table. That's all, because they didn't want to wreck anything. So they put down the cork, and they put down the perspex, and then pumped it full of nitrogen through the little crack. Perfect. So that gives you that. That means it's not actually stuck down. The next thing I'm going to add is, as I mentioned, right across the street from 10 Downing, where the Prime Minister lives, whoever the Prime Minister happens to be this week, given their last year. But because of that, cameras and security at street level, at least, is just nuts. I mean, it's armed guards in SWAT with face masks and helmets, full military across the street at 10 Downing, not to mention the endless pile of paparazzi that are always across the street from there. So they're there as long as you're,
But this is essentially a museum.
Yep.
And it is not one of the higher grossing museums, so
That is
the funding for it is minimal. The
Okay.
cameras thus have been affected by that because while the main hallways, the cameras will work for that, so you see the crowds moving through, they can keep track if they're moving through on time.
Sure.
The
Little
mainly at the
off
front.
Yeah.
But the off rooms,
Yeah.
those cameras haven't worked in years.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Except
so,
for once in a blue
You tell
moon,
me-
but that
yeah.
happened last night,
Well, we're
so
gonna
we don't
give-
have
yeah.
to worry about it.
But yeah, remember that, and at any point during the thing when I say there's a cam, you can say that one doesn't work because you set this up. That's how this works. So I'm done at 4. You guys want to add another one? Go ahead.
Well, my idea is overridden at this point, but
Okay.
it's
I mean,
fine.
at this point, no, I think yours is perfect because you could be the one. With the cameras, they can see you walking in with a cigar that looks exactly like it. Because I'm pretty sure we found a picture on Google that looks like the cigar, right?
Oh yeah, you guys.
So-
The cigar's easy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like you guys had said before, on the way there, we pick up a cigar that is like that cigar. We make it look like it, and Mick will walk in holding it, as a way to show, like that's his little cosplay, right? So when we actually replace it, it'll be replaced with that one he's holding, and he'll hold the other one on the way out. That way,
Okay.
they won't be able really to
Yep.
tell much of a difference there.
This is perfect. I love it. Yep.
Okay.
So
okay.
that'll work.
That absolutely works. I was writing down something that works with that as you were saying it. So here we go.
And if
so-
anything, I can help with the disguise because I do have disguise skill.
So, you make the phone call, Blake, and your great aunt says yes, they can arrange tours for just the 3 of you, but you're gonna have to pretend you're gonna have to pretend to be a band or some sort of celebrities. She suggests that you're a famous British cover tunes band that shall
The
remain
Churchill
nameless.
3. The Churchill 3.
No, I've got a better idea.
Okay.
idea.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mick.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so like I'll be like Churchill, and each of you can pick like your own famous British person and dress up as them. So we're
Absolutely,
like we're the 3 faces of Britain.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I do kind of have a feminine type body. Maybe I could portray the queen.
Oh yes, there are many queens, all with very fancy clothes.
So,
Oh,
I mean, I can definitely do something like that. I'm not partial to wearing dresses, but we'll do so for this.
just
Okay.
wear some shorts underneath. You'll be fine.
Well, obviously.
Churchill, an Elizabethan. One of you dresses Churchill. One of you is going to be an Elizabethan gown. Ted.
Benny Hill.
Oh yes. As, yes, must refrain
Yeah.
from slapping the king on the back of the head as he goes by. That is so British. I just closed my eyes so I could see this band, and there's Churchill standing at the front like this, like his mass in the front, and then off to one side, just behind him, looking very delicately over his shoulder in the full Elizabethan gown, but with really short cropped hair.
That's blue.
Yeah, yep, that's bright blue. And on the other flank, Benny Hill. Yeah, that's the band.
Oh,
Thank you. Oh, yep.
Oh, that was
yep.
perfect. Yes, I love it.
So that's I'm giving you the cosplay free for that. That's easy. So
Nice.
with that, because I just looked at the time too. It's actually 7:00. We should probably start this week's adventure. He holds out in his hand the pills, and you know how this works. You can take one of your own. You can take 3 of the same. It doesn't matter. What'll it be this week? And him and his vase of whiskey and his hand holding the pills are all moving at different speeds in different directions.
Mick pops a purple pill.
Okay, so that is our what is that you're changing then?
Schemer.
Schemer.
Schemers lie to people.
Okay, people. All
Good
right.
one.
Yeah, and we're gonna do. I'm trying to switch myself to use the change instead of lie. So change people, change things, or change
Yeah.
the past. Cool. So Blake, what can you change? Which pill do you take? What can you change?
She's going to stick with planner because she loves just being
Okay.
able to mess with stuff.
All right. So that is the past, or is that stuff?
That
Let's
is-
see.
That
Lock
is the stuff.
door,
Right, objects.
focus,
Okay.
space, physical reality. Yeah, it's
Objects
objects
in the
itself.
now. I always get those two. It's another reason why I want to change this. And Ted, which one did you choose?
I think it would probably be advisable if we try having all options open to us. So
All right.
I'd be taking the blue pill.
You will be
The
lying
plotter.
to the past. All
That
right.
one should definitely seem like an interesting one too. I mean, we
You
got
really-
all three of them, and this one is good.
And knowing you're
Yeah.
going to the past, being able to lie to the past. Although, man, it's poetic. In the macro and the micro, man. Anyway, the three of you go back out, get on the bike, and head off.
Well,
Stopping
we
at a
do- we
few
do our-
shops
We
on
do
the
our
way.
changing first
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
stop on the way. You
That's
know,
what
all
I
that
wanted
fun
to
stuff.
ask, because now it's Churchill, Elizabeth, and Benny Hill in a double sidecar motorcycle driving through London in 2023, and that's the image I want in my head. Just
Well,
With the little
now,
Benny Hill
chaps.
music. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
now, chaps, off we go.
And you make your way across through huge amounts of city and across various. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Get rid of the maps over everybody. And across various sections of the city and across bridges into this weird green area where you can feel this has been the center of London's power, but not for that long. 10 Downing is new. The real power is back where you guys just were, between basically the Millennium Bridge and the Tower of London. That's where old Londinium would have been. So you head out of that, across the river into the new part of town, through the trees that have been planted here. They're not natural. And you swoop past 10 Downing Street with all its matching doors and all the paparazzi, and come to a stop in this sort of nondescript roadway. And the doors open, and you see there's a small group of people, about 15 or 20 of them, waiting outside in a very orderly British queue. But as soon as you pull up, I mean, of course you're the band. Nobody even has to ask. Of course you're a band.
Yeah.
The Churchill Mobile rolls up. The three of you get off and are met at the door by the great aunt, who, frankly, because you said great aunt, looks like part of British history themselves. Yes. Well,
Yeah, that's why I went with that,
technically,
because I figure you can
they'd be
play with
dressed-
it all you want.
they'd be dressed as a World War II. I think they were Wrens, the Women's Auxiliary.
Sure.
So yeah,
Yeah.
they would be dressed as that. They meet you at the door and they say, the Churchill 3. We hope you don't mind, folks, but these folks have a concert to get to, and they usher you past the line and in and down the stairs. You see, they've kind of gone overboard with this a little bit. Your great aunt apparently really likes you. There's Welcome Churchill 3 banner on the wall. They've got cupcakes
was just-
somebody made. Yeah. And
Yeah,
this-
the cupcakes are just like general cupcakes that say C on them for the Churchill.
Somebody's recently put the C's on them, like in the last hour, because that's how much warning they've had. But these people are prepared because they're British. No, not cupcakes. They would be scones, wouldn't they? Yeah. Anyway, a full English
Little
breakfast.
flash with a C on it.
Yeah,
There you go.
a whole full English breakfast awaits, and you start the weird process because they cleared it. This is like what they do when Michael Jackson used to go shopping, right? They closed the mall. Your great aunt got carried away, and you are the only ones in this building.
Yeah,
As a rule-
Blake
Yeah.
somehow kind of sticky fingered her way into a little bit of money from one of the last stores that they were in.
Oh yeah. No worries.
And
Yeah.
she kind of hands that right over to her aunt as like a payment bribe thing to say, you know, like, thank you. It was a couple £100.
Oh, darling, you really don't need to. And it's gone.
But it's too late to take it back.
Yes. You don't want it now. It's all sweaty.
Don't spend it all in one place.
Have you been to my bar? I couldn't drink that much in a week. I don't know why. She's Irish. Sorry, Mick. I think we
I
found
have-
your aunt. Hey, wait, you two are related. Weird.
Oh,
sorry.
wow.
No, go. Like,
Great aunt once removed? I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, it is technical, but nah. At this point, yeah, I mean, she will, you know, be singing, you know, whispering sweet nothings to her great aunt if she has to. But she knows that she's done a good. Blake knows that they've done a good job. So, I mean, definitely wants to make sure that, you know, they stay in good graces of their aunt.
So yeah, you're trying to be on your best behavior. And for a while, she goes through the motions of taking you through the guided tour while looking back down the hall to make sure nobody's with you. But eventually, at about the third or fourth room, she stops and she says, "Did I ever tell you? I partied with a lot of bands in the late 60s, early 70s.
That's those times.
I guess your mother never told you," she says to Blake.
Oh, she's told me some wild stories. Uh,
I've seen your
how
mother
you two used to go
dancing-
have so much fun.
I've seen your mother dancing naked at a concert, dearie.
I haven't quite done that just yet, but I
It's
could.
probably
Who
for their
knows?
best. Anyway, my point is, bands, even wee bands such as yourself, used to be famous for a few things. Now, oh dearie me, and she pulls out a pair of handcuffs. Oh dearie me, if you haven't locked me up, help me, dear. Help me get this right. And she reaches around and does one handcuff on herself, and the other arm won't quite go down.
Yeah.
Oh dear, I've been
Blake helps
kidnapped.
her out.
I've been kidnapped by the band. You know what else they used to do? They used to wreck shit, dearie. Just for the sheer joy of wrecking it. Luckily,
Ah.
you poured a great amount of whiskey in me, and I passed out before you did it, and I was not required to see you do it to such a national treasure as this shithole. And she
Yeah.
opens her mouth to receive said amount of large amounts of whiskey. There's some
Oh
here.
yeah, she
Oh,
grabs.
This
yeah.
is a war
She'll
bunker. There's
I was gonna
cases.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, she grabs one of the ones. Will this work? This one pop.
Yeah. So you pop open a bottle of whiskey from 1940. 1940, 41.
Actually,
yeah.
this is the nerd in me.
Yeah.
Churchill was actually very famous for drinking Scottish highballs.
Yes. Yep. Mhm.
I
think, yeah.
wonder if he just has a collection of champagne
Yeah.
and Scottish whiskey
yep.
organized.
Makes sense. This is the Scottish whiskey. So yeah. Wow. I'm not sure what happens to whiskey after. I was like, oh, age 12 years, aged 18 years. Yeah. Aged
It
97 years.
It gets stronger as I've experienced this in real life.
Oh yeah.
As it evaporates down, it gets more concentrated.
Yep.
And it gets hard to breathe when you drink it.
Yeah, it just evaporates. Yeah, by the time it gets to here, it's turned into a volatile gas. Yeah, that's what, so with that, you start pouring it in, and you're like waiting for her to go, oh, or make a face or nothing. It's just swallowing, just like a frat boy sitting on a keg with the lid, and then finally she's, all right, dear, I think that'll do.
Go.
Ooh. Have fun breaking everything, dearie. Oh, tell your mother her ass is fat. And she passes out.
Well, now, chaps, let's get going.
And she hits the floor. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen the documentary. They painted the walls those what they thought was psychologically calming pale green. But then they did the floors and the ceiling too, so it's just like living in a colorless gray like blue-green tube. And it's
Oh.
interrupted by the doors, but even the doors are funky because every single one of them is an airlock metal slam blast door.
Yep.
The wiring running down the center of the ceiling in a conduit with bare bulbs hanging down because they're historically accurate and haven't been forced to switch to LEDs. It would be
Right.
weird coming down here and seeing all the swirly bulbs. That would be really odd. But yeah, you now, the three of you, have the secret underground bunker of Churchill and Company all to yourselves. The only
For a
sound, the
small
distant
amount.
dripping of water way in the back, and the snoring of your great aunt.
Who's
All right.
been quote unquote kidnapped and
Yeah.
made to
Yeah.
be passed out drunk.
Mick's
Poison.
just gonna grab a
Okay.
couple of bottles of champagne and whiskey and just chuck them on the walls to start
Oh.
breaking things, just
Oh,
to
wow.
make
Yep.
things,
I
great,
do
make
know.
a right mess of
I
things.
do know what happens to champagne after 90 years. You smash bottles of vinegar on the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah. It'd be pretty
it doesn't
nasty.
smell good.
No, but that's the mess you leave as the band begins its rampage through the national history. Harumph. I harumphed harumphingly. What do you do? The three of you. You're as far away from the room with the thing as you want to be. You have been
Well-
given an excuse to run rampant.
So
Ted's
Go ahead,
not
Ted.
smashing.
Yeah.
Ted is casing. So Ted's he's going through and it's like, oh, well, we don't want this to get damaged. And just the smaller little knickknacks
Yeah.
that are
Just putting them by the
Oh.
doors.
it's like, just like there's this
Yeah.
this little velvet rope that's it fell down.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you've got
over.
like the translation documents that just came in from Enigma decodes in the original hand of Alan Turing, all the good
Yeah.
stuff, right? You've got the
Oh.
actual codes for the days for the Ultra Machine. Yeah, all of that stuff is available.
And so a few of these things are put in a nice small neat pile
Yeah.
and just they will accidentally be
Yeah.
lost in the trash.
Blake's got the
Um,
advancement sticky. You've always had the advancement sticky fingers. But yeah.
Oh well, I'm gonna make this one a little bit more interesting.
Please do.
With Blake,
Always, yep.
yeah, of course, because she's portraying the queen. She's wearing
Essentially
high,
a pink dress.
heels
Oh yeah, the full
and a
gown,
dress. Because the way I'm imagining the clingy to be,
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's like a touch. The skin has to touch,
sure.
not
okay.
like the foot. So she takes off the shoes,
Yeah.
walks like up the wall and upside down,
Uh-huh.
puts on this conveniently heat resistant glove.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the skirt sort of opens up like a flower, but nobody can see it because you're standing on
nobody
the
can see anything
Yeah.
because yeah.
Yeah.
So she
Plus,
walks.
there's 27 petticoats underneath it. so-
Yeah, she's gonna walk along the ceiling like
Yeah.
every other of those little hanging lights.
Yeah.
She's gonna unscrew the light bulb just enough to where it turns off.
So as you're going down the hallway, it's getting dark. Mick, dressed
Oh.
as Churchill in Churchill's bunker, permission to party granted. Third.
So Mick,
Yeah.
Mick has one hand on his cane, the cigar in his left hand. It's got just because I figured it's probably slightly used cigar is probably what they have in the
Sure.
case.
Chewed but
So
not
it's
lit.
just got just the tiniest bit of burnt off the edge of it.
Actually, it's
and
chewed but not lit. I remember from the documentary.
Chewed,
there actually
sorry,
is
sorry,
one. He,
so-
he put it in his
so-
mouth, went nah, nah, nah,
so
nah, and then
Mi-
put it back and cut the end off another one and smoked that one. So yeah.
So Mick is sitting there chewing on
Mhm.
on the cigar,
Mhm.
and is walking with the cane and very ungracefully knocking down the pylons of the velvet rope as he's
Okay.
walking.
Yep.
And one of the rooms, just for the nerd part of me,
Yep.
it's the room next to where the cigar is.
Yep.
Because I imagine the cigar's probably sitting in what would be like a parlor style room.
Yep. His private room.
I imagine there is his office is right next door to that.
Absolutely.
And I saunter in with the Churchill, sit behind his desk, act like I'm Churchill, flipping through various papers
Yep.
and looking up as I see either Ted or Blake walk by. Oi, you lot there, what are you doing in my bunker?
Looting it, and walks on by.
She gives a 2-finger salute and then continues walking.
And suddenly
It-
she goes changes to
just
Rodney
straight up-
Dangerfield. Oh, get no respect around here. Yeah.
The times when men were men and men were respected, I miss those days.
Yeah, you old
And
Colonial
then,
bastard. Shut up, said the world. But
and then with his fantasy indulgence, gonna get
Yeah.
up, go into the cigar room.
So
Which Blake should already be in there by now.
Elizabeth, yeah. Elizabeth, I'm just gonna call you Elizabeth for now, because in my head now you've got the somehow you've got the crown on. I don't know how, because you're upside down. Shush. Yeah. Elizabeth is walking in on the
Theatrics.
ceiling like a tulip. Benny Hill is stealing everything that isn't nailed down.
Well, he is in his German outfit. So.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, the little. Yeah, but the later hosen. Oh, yep. Thank you. Yep. Yeah. The little tiny round glasses. Yeah. Oh, and the little. Yeah, I didn't have to mention the mustache, but I did. Anyway, and Churchill walk into and right through the little velvet rope. The three of you step in the room, and it's the first thing is the smell. You smell cigar smoke.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I was wondering how long this was going to take.
That means you know you're getting close, right?
If only I weren't allergic.
And then looking around to spot the case.
There's a metal desk. It's actually bolted to the floor, but it's all about looks. It's almost like Meccano. It looks like you could give it a good shove and the whole thing would cave, but it is
Right.
bolted to the floor, this metal desk. It's making a point by being metal, probably used for photographs of him being stoic. And on it, there's the no way desk, like with maps and books draped dramatically here and there. It's too good. There's no way it was a working desk. But there on the corner of it, weirdly out of place, is this thick plastic box covering a box of cigars. And very unnecessarily has a small sign on it that says Churchill's Cigars.
So,
Are we ready?
sure.
Well, now I certainly believe so.
Beginning to wonder about Mick's sanity. You move on. Blake,
Anyway,
you
yeah,
pull
she
up the.
goes.
yeah.
They go over and they pull up the case for
Yeah.
the boys.
So you just reach down and pull it up. Who reaches in and
Mhm.
grabs it? Oh, as you
Well-
pull it off, all of you hear the bits and pieces of speeches. The never have so many. No. Never have so many. No. And he's working on just that one phrase. Apparently, he used to do this. Those speeches were anything but spontaneous. They were as
Yes.
carefully choreographed as a play. But you hear him practicing the never have so many speech.
So, Mick, if I could have that cigar, and And so as he hands me that one, I have the cigar that we will. Right. If this is like the last time, as soon as we touch it,
Yeah.
and I seeing how it's placed, I go
Yeah.
to do the swap,
Yeah,
and
for no reason whatsoever, it's the Indiana Jones bag of sand gold head.
it's like,
Place it-
Yep.
Because as soon as you let go, as soon as you touch that one, you're out of here. So that one's got to be in the right spot, right?
yeah, so it's like,
Perfect.
Yep.
take it, and gone.
You touch that cigar. As you do, all of you hear the exploding of bombs and houses and fire alarms, the bells just ding, 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 and people screaming. And that cigar just turns to dust in your fingers.
There we go. It was old.
As you disappear, the new one falls into the box and lands on top. The other ones were new, so it just drops right where it was. And the weird part is, in this case, you only move about a block. Because the next thing the three of you know, you're on top of a building. You're basically here, but just across the street, on the top of the apartment building that is 10 Downing Street, watching the other side of the river get bombed into fine powder is what it looks like. It's the middle of the night. It's 1941. There's spotlights swirling around, but the chances of them finding one of these bombers is minimal. Every once in a while, a burst of anti-aircraft fire goes up. You can hear bombers, fighters flying around. All you can really see is just red flashes on the other side of the river. It's just nonstop. Further down the river as well, it kind of fades in perspective all the way out to the ocean because they're following the Thames in. Some of them are letting go early. One goes off just across the river. And in that bright red flash of light, you see a group of men standing by the parapets, the fake parapets of this apartment building. All of them with a drink in one hand. One of them, actually, depending on how much history you know, at least one of them a really obvious silhouette. Looks a lot like Alfred Hitchcock. Looks a lot like one of your band members. But Churchill is standing over there at the edge of the roof with 7 or 8 people around him. Eden, a couple of his other ministers. I'm not going to, I probably, if I really thought about it, I could remember them, but I'm not going to. But you can tell it's a bunch of men dressed in tuxedos, smoking cigars, drinking out of crystal, just reeking of entitlement, watching a city burn. And you can hear Churchill's voice just echoing, even over the explosives. It's somehow, he's got a voice that you just can't not hear. And he's just inspiring the shit out of these people. We must stand as we've always stood. Our forebears would bear nothing less. Remember, your family was at Waterloo and yours was at... And he's just browbeating support into these people around him. And then finally he stops and you can hear his voice is cracked. He's just, I mean, he's an old man. You see his shoulders start to go forward. And for one of the very rare times you see him actually use his cane to actually support himself. It isn't just a sign of his aristocracy. That's enough for this evening, gentlemen. Leave me alone. You know how it is. And one of them says to the other one, you hear him muttering behind his back, he thinks as long as he's watching it won't hit here. And they start to filter away off the roof. Eventually they're all gone. And it's just Winston. And he looks, but you're right behind him. He does not see you. And he deflates. The hand that isn't on the cane goes to the edge of that parapet and he damn near falls off. His elbows give and he has to push himself back up. He very carefully puts the drink down, or pushes the drink away. Takes a cigar out of his mouth, puts it on the parapet beside the drink. You can see him just standing there catching his breath. Lit by as London burns.
Mm.
Who reacts first?
Oh, Mick.
Dressed as him.
He's dressed as
Can't help this.
Winston
Yep.
Churchill.
Yep, you're not getting away
Boiler
from this.
hat,
Yep.
cane,
Yep.
whole 9 yards.
Makeup to make yourself look old. Yep.
Yep.
But underneath it all, just
Walks.
hulking fit monster, right? Yeah.
Just yeah.
Yeah.
Walks up to Churchill. I imagine there's like a parapet next to him that he walks up
Yep.
to. Makes just looking out. Doesn't look at Churchill. And he just he tries to restrain his normal way of talking, but like it's just like the power and the weight of responsibility in trying times ages one faster than anything else. But it is great men who can bear that responsibility and rise above it. Are you one of those men?
That sounds like one of my speeches. And as he turns, he hasn't turned until that moment, and he's suddenly looking at himself. Ghost of Christmas future? Or am I dead? And he starts feeling his chest, like he's checking for his pulse. Are you an angel? I expected the dead from Gallipoli. I'm not even going to try and do the voice.
If you want to think of it like that, then do so. But just as your aches and your pains and like all the other worries you have, they shall fade. But you must endure.
But all I have is words. I can't
Words.
save them with words. And he kind of turns his back on it like he can't even watch it anymore.
You can't save with words, but you can inspire and drive people, everyday people, to do things they could never have done without those words.
He spins back on you and says, I can convince them to die.
But for everyone that goes and fights and dies, it means one of your people here in London, in Britain, has a chance to live.
He looks around and sees the other two of you, giving you a chance to interject.
So Benny will walk up and
Yep.
and so I believe it was somebody in this country's own past that had to be convinced to not second guess themselves. You know the tale of Boudica and the saving of Britain Isles? She was afraid of what her people would think if only she acted with words. But yet she rose to that challenge to save this isle. You've been placed in a very similar situation. So, you've gotten it to this point. You're at that cusp. You can do it. Just think of all the others who have come before you that have done the same thing to save these isles. That is your turn now.
But they were brilliant. All I do is make mistakes.
But you have the ear of the people. You said yourself, all you have is words. Well, use those words. Use those words as a weapon. The right words and the right ears changes the world.
Do you know there's not one of them I trust this to hand off to? I can't even die.
Don't.
Time comes for all men. You can worry about what comes after this when that after comes. For on the horizon there is a great wave coming that will change the course of this war. You just have to wait and be ready for it. Your words reaches the hearts and minds of everyone in the Isles, and many of those abroad, inspiring them to come to your aid and fight for their country and to fight for you, Winston Churchill. You may consider yourself a weak man with just words, but it is the power you instill behind those words which makes you the leader that this country turns to. Now, you must choose where your path will take you. Will you be the leader as those who have come before, like Boudica, and taking your title and riding it to victory? Or shall you succumb to your doubt and allow those on the outside to overcome your determination, your will, and your downright poor choice in alcohol?
Blake, you want to add anything?
Well, was Elizabeth around at that time? Above game?
Yep.
Okay.
Actually,
Well, I'm assuming she...
the current Elizabeth was actually was a qualified mechanic and driving a delivery truck during World War II.
Okay.
But
Well,
you're dressed like her grandmother, Elizabeth, so...
Yeah.
All right, well,
Which he would definitely know, because that's like the world he wanted to live in. He calls himself a dinosaur, and that's kind of what he means.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she's going to walk forward. Well, they're going to walk forward and see if there's any recognition.
Like just a snap, just it's automatic. It's like Queen, I almost said helmet, but Queen, crown, dress, yep, bows very deeply to you. Your Majesty.
I'd listen to these guys. They tell a lot of truth. Don't doubt yourself. You have what it takes to take care of this.
But I am a man of your era, my queen, not of this one. All I can do is watch these brave boys die, and in the background the plane comes smashing down. It's been shot down in the darkness and a couple blocks away.
Granted, they're dying, but their sacrifice will be for naught. For I know that deep down, you have the power to install change. You may be getting on in years, yes. However, that does not mean you can't instill those people with a sense of pride, a sense of dignity, a sense of self-respect, a sense of want to protect what is rightfully theirs, which is here our kingdom. You are a born leader, just like I am. I trust in you that you can lead everybody here to a grand victory. I know you can do it. You just need to know that yourself.
And it's hardly seemed like it was possible, but after listening to each of you, he deflates even more. And there's no historical figure here. There's no government leader here. This is just a tired old man. He looks back at the other side of the lake, of the river, and all the explosions and all the death, and he says, "Every one of those will haunt me. The ghosts, Your Majesty, how do you deal with them?"
I feel each and every one of their pain. Believe me, they are my people just as much as you see them. Yes, it saddens me that we are losing so many. Those cowards, they're attacking at a rather weak time for us, and in all honesty, I'm sure that once this current onslaught is over, we can rally those who are still alive and uninjured, or not too severely injured, to come back and become victorious, be stronger than we were before. Believe it or not, if we, the monarchy, are strong for the people, that helps the people become stronger and make them want to help us more. We're not forcing them to help us, more like asking them to fight with us. We need them to trust us enough to be able to take care of them and have them take care of us at the same time. Granted, and then she'll wave her hand out like royally. All those people over there, yes, they're suffering. I feel their pain. I know that they are going through a lot of hardship right now. But I also know that with time and a little bit of energy on our part towards our budding group of people who wish to help us, we could come back and become victorious and be the best Britain we can be. I know you have it in you to lead those troops. Otherwise, you would not be here right now, I'm sure. Look deep down inside. You have it. You just need to find that little spark that makes it all worthwhile. Yes, the deaths will be terrible. Yes, we're losing a lot of people, but we still have a lot more people we can rely on. If we rely on them, they'll rely on us and will help us in our time of need.
He nods. You can see in his eyes. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to play a card here.
Yes, please. I was thinking we hadn't played hardly any tonight, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I play the Just the Thing.
Perfect.
I planned for this contingency and produce one useful object that helps the current situation. So, with that, in all of his looting he was going through, he found one of the little piles of notes and papers from one of the offices that he'd used, and it is something that they had in the for showing through the whole war. It's a copy of his victory speech, and it basically just kind of, it was one of the things that went into his pocket. But he's like, so he pulls it out. He goes, "All right, Churchill, I've got something for you, and you need to be there when it is time for this. This is not an option anymore. This is a requirement of you. This is this is what you have to do for this country and yourself. You need to be there to read this, and you'll know when this needs to be read. And he hands him a copy of his victory speech.
Yeah. So I kind of acted it up, but as you speak,
Yeah.
he's coming back, right? It's just, you got him in the politics, right? You got him in the yeah.
I have one more card I want to play.
Please do, yeah.
If it decides it wants to go, let me
You
make sure I'm
hand
in.
him his speech. You mean the never have so in the history of all mankind have the okay, perfect, yeah.
So it's his victory. So
yeah. Yeah.
And this is in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that part of Blake discovering themselves.
Yep.
Part of Blake discovering themselves was that they studied queens and ancient queens, thinking that they could, if they're going to be a proper woman,
Yeah.
that they might as well know how to behave as such. That's why this is in her wheelhouse.
Perfect.
She's studied and even played a queen in a past.
Perfect.
In a play. So
and the best part with that is I was trying to figure out a way to not have you guys roll because all of those speeches alone were worth success. I don't give any F's what system you're using. Those speeches were worth success. And now this game is so good and we got so lucky and yeah, perfect. You succeed. No roll necessary. Before you stands Winston Bloody Churchill. All 92 feet tall, the hero, the monster, the one that the Germans feared, the ones that the British loved, the ones that the Scottish and the Irish respectfully but disdainfully respected. But that man, and he's reading the speech, and you see his lips are moving, not because he has to, but because he's reading it out loud in his head. And you see him stop at that famous sentence, and he starts it. It's that thing you heard on the way here, that never have so many, and he gets the timing right on the first read. And he puts it down. He takes his glass from the other pair, puts it on top of the speech to keep it from blowing away, picks up the cigar, puffs it back into life, and he says, "I've never been a dinosaur before, but I think I rather like it. Your Highness," and a big drunken overdone bow in the direction of who he is now convinced is Queen Victoria. To put you in his head, he thinks he's dying right now. Like he honestly think this is it, right? This is where I'm going to go on the roof at 10 Downing. So he's going to go with some style. He says, "In spite of my complete lack of military training, I managed to fuck up 2 complete campaigns in your honor, your majesty." And he has a big drink, and he turns to the other 2 of you. And he says, "I have nothing but words, as you said. But words got me here. Words will get me back from here. And that bloody speech, whoever wrote it, is fucking wonderful." He has another big drink. Churchill swearing got you, did it?
I can't. The nerd in the history nut in me can't resist at least seeing what will happen by me slipping this in here.
Yeah, please do.
As I look over at Churchill.
Yeah.
And, like, you may be a dinosaur, but I've got some good meat you can hunt after. And before all of this, Mick pulls out a note with a list of the Cambridge 5.
Okay.
All of their names written down on it.
Okay.
Those
the
5
spies,
names, the spies who were spying for the Soviet Union in World War II and throughout the Cold War in MI6. And he just...
Oh, you want to know what
just
I'm going to do with
look
that?
into
Okay.
these.
All right.
I'm sorry.
I know. No, don't
My
do that. I
history
know.
nerd can't resist.
I know
it.
exactly what happened. I gotta
Just
write it down here
look
before I
into
forget.
those if you have time.
And he nods to the three of you and he says, "Well, if there's nothing else, I've got a war to win." And he turns around and picks up that document and starts striding back and forth on the ceiling of number 10. "Never have so many!" Just while everybody, the flames and the smoker in the background. Yeah. And
I think we're good here, guys.
and he sees that, reaches into his pocket, and yeah, why not? Let's go full circle. He opens up a cigar case and offers each of you. "I'll tell no one, Your Highness."
She gently picks one up.
Yeah,
I'll hold on to this
blue
for
hair.
now.
Blue hair.
Where
and
I
a-
come
and a-
from.
Yeah.
We call these the victory cigars. Let's light them up.
And as you light them,
Pulls up the
yeah.
always for
Uh,
luck.
Oh, and the last thing you hear before everything goes dark is, "Oh, bugger, you're Irish." But and this time, as
Yeah.
as it fades to black and you snap away and you see that sort of history flash forward, you see Churchill inspired. He delivers that speech and many others, and when it comes time at the end of the war, when they start calling him a dinosaur, when they start telling him it's time to go, when they try and force him out, he drops the bombshell of the Cambridge Five. And using that information, manages to stay in power another 10 years and set a very different end result, very similar, but very different start to the Cold War. It was, after all, and I have the book upstairs, Churchill who wrote the book that used the phrase, the Iron Curtain, for the first time.
Yep.
Wow.
So with
Oh, I'm so
that,
excited.
you snap out. And I was going to go, and I know we still got 10 minutes left. I was going to go all the way back and have you guys finish it up, but no, I want to start each one with the debrief instead of ending them with the debrief. So as history snaps back around you, you find yourselves again back where you started.
Am I still on the ceiling?
Yes, you are, but you're back in that underground bunker with all the damage that you've done, all the stuff that you got piled by the door.
Do we still have the cigars we received?
You do. You each have a you still each have a Churchill cigar.
That's what.
Oh.
Yeah, she's just gonna kindly hand it to one of the guys. Says, I don't smoke. I'm allergic, but here you go.
Well, it's like
Nick.
one of those ones that you used to get when your
Here you
buddy
go.
thought his wife was pregnant. Everybody got a cigar. Yeah,
So
nobody ever smoked them.
hand
Yeah.
Blake's to Nick and say, Nick, you've got one to smoke and one to sage.
That's actually balancing out the number of modern day Winston Churchill circa 1940 cigars that are still in the world. In fact, if you took that cigar right now and put it back in the case, replace the one that you guys brought and put the lid back on, technically nothing has changed except the freshness of that cigar. It's not 70 years old and saved the nitrogen.
We'll leave the one that we bought and
Yeah,
brought.
the-
We'll leave that one there.
The fake. Oh, even better, because now somebody can do a Time Team episode about that 20 years in the future. But,
Yep.
Yeah.
So with that, I didn't say it when I should have, but we're going to drop the curtain right at that moment. When
Just
you
as
Blake
see
puts
the
the-
change of history, just as you put the cover back on the cigar case. That's where we'll start. So you guys still have to get out of here past all the wreckage starting next week. But we're going to do that next week because I want to stretch the fun. This one was a lot of fun. It was really weird. It was really funny. I loved it.
Oh, I had
we hardly used any cards, and I don't care. This
Well,
We
my
used
cards
3.
didn't. We never. 2 of my cards dealt with rolls.
Well,
and the
that's
other
the
one
thing.
dealt with an injury.
There
so-
wasn't, other than your perception checks at the start of it, there wasn't a single roll all night. I am guilty of that from time to time. Tonight was pure storytelling. There should have been a roll, and then you guys saved me from it by playing the card, so thank you. That was 100% storytelling. So thank you.
It just worked out so well. I can't
Thank you
believe
for your
we're.
history nerding, because we got to, that I actually own the book. It's horrible. It's such a hideous read. He was such a dinosaur. But that book was a series of speeches he gave when he came to America, and he was flat
Yep.
out inciting the Cold War. There's no other way
Yep.
to put it. What you just did is let him live in power for 10 more years to really set the tone. So,
Oh, yeah.
set the tone as I pushed both buttons at the same time. I got a week to think about what that means too. But
Ooh, yes.
before then, holy cows, all the holy cows. Thank yous all around. Thank you so much to Solar Dasher. Blake tonight really got a chance to do something cool, because you used the they them pronouns for Blake, and you got to kind of explore that tonight. I love that that's part of gaming, but I really love that that's something that you chose to explore. So thank you for that. I appreciate it, and I love the way you did it. It's like, am I a queen? Today I'm a fucking queen. Let's go. Bright blue hair and a Victorian dress walking on the ceiling. I'm a goddamn queen. Let's go. I love it. Thank you. Yep. And as Eddie Izzard once said, let's go fix the car. Somebody hold
Oh,
my
yeah,
bumps.
My hands were held like this the whole damn time. I was like,
Perfect.
inner queen.
Oh, wow. Oh, Sean. Thank you again for coming back. I mean that. I'm always surprised when people come back and play with us, because we don't play like most people play. So I appreciate it very, very much.
This is all the improv where it's like, oh, you have to make it on the fly.
Yes.
Oh, I've got stuff in my head.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, thank you. In that case, thank you for bringing your head, and thank you for dumping stuff out of it. I appreciate it. I'm going to give you the ultimate compliment. You fit right in. It feels like you played with us for many games, for many sessions. You get what we're about, the inclusivity and the storytelling, and thank you for finding us. Thank you for coming back, reconnecting with us recently through this game.
Yep.
We're
Thank you
better
for the
for
opportunity.
having you with us. So thank you. And Primus. Oh
My stars.
that muscle head of yours ain't so muscly headed. He's a muscle body, he's a muscle boy, there's no question about that, but there appears to be an education in that one somewhere, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more of that come out. I love how you managed to make your personal private nerddom leak into your character, leak into the game.
Yes.
It was beautiful. Thank you. Multiple layers metagaming. Yeah. That's one of the reasons I love this game. But thank you for bringing Mad Mick, who is neither mad nor, well, I was going to say neither mad nor Mick, but he is a Mick. But he's not mad. He just appears like that on TV. So thank you for bringing these characters. They're all a blast, and I'm looking forward to it. We got another week with the three of us, and then after that we bring in our fourth character, but we'll talk about that at the end of next week, not at the end of this week. Because we got to thank the people that watched tonight in chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's more than one each. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think so.
That's okay, because also the people that watch on VOD, and that's where we get a lot of our views. So thank you very much to the folks watching there. If you saw this on YouTube, please, if you watched all the way to here, hit the like button, because we're going to presume you did. So hit that down there, and hit that bell too, because I am not the most timely poster, so you'll see 3 or 4 things get posted in one day, so stay tuned. And if you're behind 416 episodes, 830 something hours, you could binge watch that until you see us next time. But also until next time, the important bit, please be nice to each other. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.